in the sun.
NTA International News. President Jonathan delighted with UN program success story. Nigeria to restructure defense and security posture to check menace of terrorism. Experts meet in Abuja to re-strategize on transnational organized crimes within the West African sub-region. And health practitioners in Nigeria challenged to place the nation's oral health system on a sustainable pedestal. You're welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Chinedu Obike. The fourth edition of Youth Enterprise with Innovation in Nigeria was held in Abuja today. The event, which celebrated the success of the UN program and the development of small and medium enterprise in Nigeria, had testimonies from beneficiaries of the program. Speaking at the event, President Goodluck Jonathan expressed delight at the promise exhibited by beneficiaries of the UN Fund.
Intelligence gathering and sharing with border communities. This year's Defense Attaché Annual Conference, no doubt, has so much to grapple with, especially with the current spate of security challenges confronting the country. From the Defense Intelligence Headquarters in Abuja, KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
And still on security matters, strategies to curtail transnational organized crimes within the West African sub-region is occupying the attention of experts who are in Abuja to fashion out ways of tackling this emerging threat to regional and national development. Correspondent Moplang Dakok reports that the forum was put together by the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution.
Transnational organized crimes manifest in many forms, including piracy, drug trafficking, terrorism and terrorism financing, as well as trafficking in persons. Reports have it that the Gulf of Guinea is a hotspot for modern crimes, which has necessitated calls for transnational and international intervention. Speakers at the event were unanimous in their submission for a collaborative approach to solving the issue.
Transnational organized crimes can actually bring down regimes because unsupervised criminal activities go on. And if they are too close to our borders, it can become a challenge, for even normal governance regimes.
To look at how they function, they are very unorthodox methods that try to undercut power and authority in order to influence issues, so that we can take remedial actions to reduce the effect on our society.
Training opportunities for law enforcement, as well as support at the top. The political support is very, very important. A lot of recommendations have been made, but the implementation is still very low, and that is why the organized crime threat continues to pose a challenge to this region.
The forum is expected to come up with strategies that will be implementable in overcoming the problem. Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Away from security matters, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Aloma Mariam Mukhtar, has called on state governments to respect the Constitution and grant the judiciary in the states their financial and administrative independence. She made a call in Abuja at the opening of this year's conference of All Nigeria correspondent Femi Okeowo reports.
Going by the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution and in line with judgment of courts, the call for the independence of the third arm of government in the current democracy which Nigeria is running has increased in the last few years. With judges of lower courts across the country converged in Abuja for their biannual conference, Chief Justice of Nigeria again used the opportunity to remind state governments that Nigeria's democracy is not complete without full independence granted to the judicial arm of government.
I am aware that the judges of the lower courts in so many states are working under horrible and sordid conditions. Some magistrates sit in classroom blocks and village town halls. Some of these problems are man-made. These are occasioned by the refusal of some state governors to respect the Constitution they have sworn to protect and defend.
Administrator of the National Judicial Institute, Justice Rosalind Bozimo, spoke of the importance of magistrates, customary court judges, area court and Sharia court judges in the nation's judicial system.
It is through this type of conference that we ensure that we maintain standards, promote efficiency, and improve on the quality of judicial service at the lower courts.
The crop of judges attending this conference are those that Justice Aloma Mariam Mukhtar describes as grassroots judges, and so their conduct touches at the heart of the judiciary of this nation. From the National Judicial Institute, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
And Senate President David Mark has challenged health practitioners in Nigeria to galvanize available resources and support action towards placing the nation's oral health system on a sustainable pedestal for national development. Speaking at the opening of the 4th National Oral Health Week in Abuja, Senator Mark promised to personally scale up the oral health campaign in schools across the 6 geographical zones of the country. National Assembly correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The event, with the theme celebrating 100 million smiles in Nigeria, was organized to create awareness on oral health as an integral aspect of general health. The Senate President, who is a national oral health champion for Nigeria, is worried that tooth decay, in particular, affects up to 80% of the world's population, and therefore promised to support sustainable oral health campaign towards preventing oral diseases and ensuring better quality of life and improved socio-economic status.
I want to solicit the commitment and the support of all and sundry towards a paradigm shift from limiting dentistry in Nigeria to framing policies in oral health based on integration of oral health into national and community health programs.
It is noteworthy to state that the National Oral Health Policy has provided the framework for the improvement of the oral health care for the Nigerian populace and an eventual development of our health system.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Linus Awute, said oral health is now embedded in the National Health Strategic Policy in Nigeria as a deliberate attempt to promote oral hygiene among Nigerians. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Inspector General of Police, Suleiman Abba, has reiterated the vision and determination of the Nigeria Police Force to upgrade maternity facilities in all police hospitals across the country and make them available to members of the public. This is sequel to the successful launch of the federal government's National Operational Plan for the elimination of mother-to-child transmission of HIV in Nigeria by President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. IGP Abba also pledged that the force will fully comply with the newly launched operational plan while urging Nigerians to patronize police hospitals nationwide for their health care needs. New and returning students of the University of Maiduguri, Borno State, Northeast Nigeria, are being screened for infectious diseases by health officials at designated locations within the institution. The initiative, according to authorities of the university, is a preventive measure against the outbreak of Ebola disease. Lami Ali reports.
In its efforts at safeguarding the health of students and other members of the university's community, authorities of the University of Maiduguri set up a health services committee with a mandate to screen all new and returning students as part of the new procedure for registration as bona fide students of the university. The screening, which entails carrying out a check of the body temperature of the students, is to ascertain their current health status and to specifically prevent an outbreak of the dreaded Ebola disease. According to the Chairman, Health Services Committee and Coordinator, Ebola Virus Disease Screening Committee, University of Maiduguri, Dr. Mohammed Arab Al-Haji, the exercise was in line with the directive of the Federal Ministry of Health that requires continuous surveillance across the country despite the clean record issued Nigeria by the World Health Organization.
During the screening, once a student is picked to have a temperature that is more than 38 degrees Celsius, so we now ask him or her to go to the University Medical Center.
The students see the exercise as a welcome development and have so far cooperated with the authorities. The screening will last 2 weeks. In Maiduguri, Lami Ali, NTA News.
You're watching NTA International News, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria. For a review of the major stories, you heard that President Goodluck Jonathan and the 4th edition of the Youth Enterprises You Win program is delighted with its success. We also told you that Nigeria is to restructure its defense and security posture in order to put an end to the menace of terrorism. Minister of Defense General Ali Gusau said this at the 2014 Defense Attaché Annual General Conference in Abuja. Stay tuned for these and more.
Stimulating attitudinal changes and initiating radical thinking. Sheyi Makinde, the man of his words, an achiever per excellence, imbibing public confidence and enlist mass participation in governance. Sheyi Makinde, a philanthropist, driving a collective vision of a people of Oyo State in a unique way. Sheyi Makinde, a man of the people and a silent achiever. Sheyi Makinde can be trusted to do more.
We will change the future of our state for the better.
Sheyi Makinde, the man for change.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The news continues. Rice farmers in Nigeria have so far generated 400 billion naira to the country's economy since the inception of the transformation agenda under the present administration. The challenge, however, is the need to close the gap between production and milling, as the country can only boast of 18 rice mills. It is against this development that NEPAD organized the second Nigeria Rice Investment Forum to address the identified challenges in order to boost production. Taiwo Dubeso has details.
Nigerian rice production, currently estimated at about 3 million tons per year, does not meet the annual domestic demand of about 5 million tons. The supply gap is being addressed through rice imports, which represent over 25% of all agricultural imports procured on the world market, with Nigeria spending over $300 million annually on rice alone. Rice production in Nigeria has, however, witnessed remarkable developments under the administration of the President Goodluck Jonathan and its agricultural transformation agenda.
Right here is the rice that is being produced in Nigeria today. It's not what you think about your local rice before, black, smelly, broken and all that. It's totally changed. Today we have reached 6 million farmers growing this beautiful rice in Nigeria. We have expanded our rice production by 2 million hectares. And we have expanded total production by 7 million metric tons of rice paddy.
NEPAD's first intervention in the rice industry in 2008 provided the forum for stakeholders to discuss the challenges as well as way forward for increased production in Nigeria and West African sub-region. The impact of that forum has been part of the success story in the Nigerian rice industry. The second Nigerian Rice Investment Forum is organized by NEPAD to consolidate on the achievements of the first forum and to focus on the practical steps to transform the rice industry in Nigeria and West Africa for self-sufficiency, sustainability, and exportation.
The present administration, more than ever, has greatly changed the fortune of the rice sector in the areas of production, processing, and marketing.
It is my belief that this second forum will use deliberations on how to build on the gains of the last one.
The forum featured exhibition of made in Nigeria rice and rice products and provided an avenue for stakeholders in the rice sector to interact for the desired business deals and development. Taiwo Odugbeson, NTA News.
Thank you, Taiwo. Still on food production, the federal government has restated its commitment to curbing cattle rustling and ensuring food security through partnership with investors. Nigeria's ambassador to Argentina said this when he led a South American business delegation to the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council in Abuja. Correspondent Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji reports.
BRIPAM is a business community comprising Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina, with a common interest in exploring investment opportunities. Its delegation to the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, according to the Nigerian ambassador to Argentina, is to familiarize the members with the regulatory framework in the Nigerian investment climate.
So if we encourage them to adopt modern ways of pastoralism and remain sedentary, the food the cattle will eat is in the same place. The water is the same. Veterinary services will be provided on the same place. And therefore, there is minimal possibility of interface with farmers. Our security, as far as that is concerned, will be in check.
Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, Saratu Umar, assured the delegation of Nigeria's readiness to ensure sustainable economic relations between the partners.
Nigeria has a lot of agri potential, and which we require to be harnessed because of the immediate benefit to the owner of the company and as well as to us as a country, because it will take up a lot of our youth, job creation, and to also help to process some of the commodities we have.
Rice farming, meat processing, fishery, and textile manufacturing were some of the areas the delegation listed as priority in its investment drive. The visit by this South American delegation is a show of commitment for economic diversification between Nigeria and Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay. In Abuja, I'm Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Nigerians react to the 6% gross domestic figure for the third quarter of 2014 by the National Bureau of Statistics. Plus, the need for government to seek financial assistance from donor agencies highlighted. Details with Chiazalam Ekie.
The National Bureau of Statistics revealed that the gross domestic figure for the third quarter of the Nigerian economy is 6.23%, a decline from the 6.54% recorded in the second quarter of 2014. The report, however, says the oil sector experienced production challenges, with the average daily production of crude oil in the third quarter put at 2.15 million barrels per day.
People had expected more than that. But I know that if you look at all the contending issues in the economy, I was thinking that it would have been coming back down to about 5.8, really. Because you find out that apart from the dwindling oil revenue, we're not doing structurally well in the economy as it is now for this quarter.
The NBS, however, noted that the growth was driven by activities recorded in crop production, textile, apparel, and footwear. In the meantime, Mozambican Commercial Bank has benefited from a credit of $9 million from the African Development Bank to support the country's small and medium enterprises. Although the Nigerian government approved a loan for SMEs in Nigeria, Ken Ukoha, an economist, believes Nigeria should also tap into such loans. African Development Bank program says it is poised to assisting countries throughout Africa. Chiazalam Ekie, NTA News.
Political observers speak on political parties' administration in Nigeria, and Super Eagles of Nigeria fine-tune strategies ahead of Wednesday's encounter with Bafana Bafana. Stay with us.
Sheyi stimulating attitudinal changes and initiating radical thinking. Sheyi Makinde, the man of his words, an achiever per excellence, imbibing public confidence and enlist mass participation in governance. Sheyi Makinde, a philanthropist, driving a collective vision of a people of Oyo State in a unique way. Sheyi Makinde, a man of the people and a silent achiever. Sheyi Makinde can be trusted to do more.
We will change the future of our state for the better.
Sheyi Makinde, the man for change.
You're welcome back. Political parties in Nigeria can be effectively administered to play their roles to enhance sustainable democracy with adequate funding and thriving internal democracy. Some political watchers and players expressed these views while speaking on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria earlier today. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Political parties are the main vehicles for organizing political representation, political competition and democratic accountability. They are conceived as agents of power through which members of the society express themselves and their aspirations and also participate in governance. By their nature as democratic institutions, political parties play an integral role in building and sustaining democratic values. However, political watchers and players have expressed great concern about the manner in which political parties are administered in Nigeria. They question the administrative capacity of the political parties in the Fourth Republic, ranging from lack of ideology and inability of the parties to follow through implementation of their party manifestos.
Democracy, by what it connotes, is supposed to take into consideration the main ingredient of the wishes of the ordinary people, who have a right to choose a leader based on their own perception of who the leader is.
And until and unless people begin to understand that if they do not participate in politics, they stand the risk of getting of being subjected to the rule of those that are intellectually inferior to them.
the members of the political parties need to have a financial stake. It is when they put a little money, no matter how little it is, into a party that they have a sense of belonging. And they are able to challenge some of these wrong things that are happening in parties.
There is also the question of lack of internal structure and cohesion in the parties, saying the inability of the political parties to encourage fairness in the internal election of flag bearers have often led to election malpractices.
Super Eagles fine-tuned strategies ahead of Wednesday's clash with Bafana Bafana of South Africa as Sports Minister calls for support for Super Eagles. Kene Emabodike has details.
Super Eagles players have been intensifying their training ahead of Wednesday's Africa Cup of Nations clash against Bafana Bafana of South Africa. Coach David Keishi led the players in a training session on Monday to fine-tune their strategies as they play the make-or-match match in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Analysts say with determination and cohesion, the Super Eagles will triumph against Bafana Bafana.
They ensure that they play as a team and they have to be cautious. Exactly what they did in Congo. If they can bring it to bear on the match in Uyo, I'm confident that we are going to win that match.
In the meantime, Minister and Chairman National Sports Commission Tammy Danagogo has appealed to Nigerians to come out en masse on Wednesday and support the Super Eagles in their quest to pick Africa Cup of Nations ticket. Danagogo commended the team for exhibiting a never-say-die spirit in the Nations Cup qualifier against Congo in Pont-Noir. The 2013-2014 Nigeria Professional Football League ended with 4 clubs, Crown FC, Nemba City, Gombe United and Kaduna United being relegated to the National League. However, 3 AC of Ibadan, Gabros International, Wicked Tourist and Ranchers Beach got promoted to the Premier League. And to tennis, Novak Djokovic is still celebrating winning his 3rd ATP World Tour Finals title on the trot. With Sports Update, Kenei Maburike, NTA News.
And just before we go, a look at the weather forecast for Tuesday. And that's it from here. Thanks for being there.